Okay, I'm gonna make the screen bigger. Then I'm gonna count down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, this is Angelique Tsang from Letlovecometoyou, and I just wrapped up an interview with Jeff Forte, a executive results coach who actually works a lot in the arena of personal relationships. And today we spoke about a very controversial subject, and the subject is how our love life affects our business success. And so, Jeff, when you proposed this subject to me, I was all ears because I hadn't made that connection myself first, even, being so knowledgeable on all subjects. So can you tell the listeners and viewers a little bit about what we discussed in bullet points and what they can expect when they're going to tune in to our interview?
Yeah, my whole premise is based on that successful relationships create success in the business world.
Yeah.
Troubled relationships create trouble in the business world. And we talked a little bit about this this confidence connection, certainly for the men, because once the confidence is affected in the workplace, the source is constantly the relationship. When the men are indecisive, when they're under stress, when their leadership skills are starting to suffer, when their creative thinking is challenged, these often are found as a source cause in a troubled relationship at home. For women in the corporate workplace, the same challenges exist, but it's a loss of feminine radiance, a loss of intuition, a loss of heart. And so when you have two people who are driven in the corporate world, there's a struggle for connection. In the home as well, and when two people are struggling for significance, nobody wins. And if there isn't a vision that unites people, then what do you have? What are you in the relationship for? And so I think of relationship success as part of life success. All the money in the world without relationship success is really a pretty empty life. If you can create a relationship success where you can feel the emotional connection, this deep sense of inner peace because you're with somebody who just lights you up every day in your life, and be able to sustain that over time, then you're going to feel like you've had life success. And lastly, this connection, the spark that created this energy from the very beginning. What are you doing today that's different? How can you sustain that spark over time? So these are the types of things that we talked about. And these are the types of things that engage the relationship at a completely different level.
Yes, and I think Jeff is totally right. We discuss all these topics, but what you'll also hear in the interview is me acting as if, acting like the devil's advocate, coming to you with all the questions that we have when we actually do not know that there is a correlation, and we actually, struggle to make it work, but we do all the wrong things. And what is so beautiful about, I think, Jeff's background is that he really very openly admits that, he has made all the mistakes that there are possible, been through a divorce himself. And actually, when Jeff was talking about that experience, I felt actually a lot of pain, and maybe I was resonating to that pain that you were feeling, but I also felt that you were driven by that pain to actually make it better, and to see you also say that from the experience that you've had coaching executives, really looking at the cause of the lack of direction, or maybe sometimes the lack of satisfaction that they have in their career, finding with them that sometimes it's not the career, but it's actually the personal relationship, and how you have never ever failed. You have for so far have never failed in bringing a couple back together to that magical place. Knock on wood. I don't have wood here somewhere. Sorry. Just hearing that you can actually, that you are able to guide these people back to that magical place and back to where they understand each other and are willing to work with each other. It was wonderful to listen to that. It was absolutely wonderful. Jeff and I did, Matt, I think, I really want to ask you a question here. And that is because I think women intuitively know. We intuitively know that no matter how successful we are as women, our relationships will actually really light us up. But for a man, I really think that there is some kind of lack of acknowledgement there for men, also successful men or whatever men we have. Men don't really sometimes, maybe because it's political correctness, cannot really acknowledge that their relationship is what is really, the core priority in their life, or even make the correlation that actually it's the relationship that makes them successful in their work. So is there something that you can say here to address the men regarding the contents of our interview? So we don't have to say everything that we've said in the 1 hour interview, but maybe a few headlines.
Okay. So the first thing I want to say is that, I got this knowledge because I screwed up massively in my first marriage. That's how I got the knowledge, just screwing up so badly and feeling the pain. My own journey of learning from my mistakes and understanding as a man what has to happen to thrive, because I didn't get it. I didn't understand that. And what does that even mean in my life? Because I didn't even understand the significance of a loving, fulfilling relationship. And once I found it, I was able to experience freedom before in my life, no matter how much business success I'd ever had. And for men, once they find through the relationship, they become even more successful. They become happier at a much, much deeper level. Because while there are a lot of people out there who feel something's missing in their lives, or there's an undercurrent of dissatisfaction, the root cause, in my experience, just from observing people in my own life, is that the source cause is a troubled relationship or an unfulfilling relationship.
And so, and I do want to, be a bit challenging here, because there are also schools that say, don't rely on your relationship to make you happy. That is codependency or whatever it is.
Yes.
What would you say about that?
The first thing I want to say is that there's I want to talk about men and women for a moment.
Yeah.
The female has to be happy on her own first. The male's role is to light her up, to make her happier, not to make her happy. The female's job is to be happy. As a man, we're driven to make our partner happy. If they're not happy, then we feel challenged. If we can't make them happy, then we want to leave. We give up. And so if the female isn't happy to begin with, and we can't help make her happy, then we're done. And it's really an important distinction. And for the men, clearly the man has to be happy with himself, happy with his purpose, happy with his mission, happy with his career. So if both partners are happy and they come together happy, they can create an incredibly fulfilling, thriving, loving, committed connection.
So, but what so often happens is that people are not happy, and they think that when they get into a relationship, all things are solved, and then they start blaming each other. And so, can you help those couples?
Yes, absolutely. Because not only in those situations do I work with the couple themselves, but I also work with the individuals to help restore their own personal self-worth. Because with unhappiness, there's an undercurrent of low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-confidence. And that needs to be restored as well.
Yeah. And what was for you the thing that you learned from this interview, Jeff? I'm going to challenge you and put you on the spot. You better give a good answer,
I just
Jeff.
lost my audio connection.
Are you sure?
Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. I lost my audio connection there for a moment. Can you repeat the question, please? What was it that I learned?
Yeah, what was it that you learned during our interview? And please give me a nice answer. I'll send you chocolate.
All right. What I learned is a little bit more of the feminine connection through this desire to just be in a relationship. Whether it's online or somebody living out of state. One of the things that I had forgotten about is this drive for the feminine to just get in a relationship. Not a recipe for success.
It's not a recipe for success?
No, it's not.
Okay, so that is our next interview then.
That's right.
Oh my God. So what? Okay. No, but I think. Do you think I'm accurate when I say that there is a feminine drive to be in relationship
Yes,
if
yes.
they're truthful to themselves?
Yes, yes. From the feminist perspective, the drive for connection in a relationship is enormous versus the drive for freedom from the masculine. And so, are they really at odds from the beginning? And maybe, maybe not. So that's where alignment and vision really matter. But yes, the answer to your question is yes. There is this sense of importance for this relationship connection.
Yeah. 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 No. Thank you, Jeff. It was very insightful. I enjoyed it a lot. We had a lot of, I think you took me through a step-by-step approach of how you work with couples, especially when they are in a something has to change now type of scenario where everything is at stakes. They've given up on each other, and maybe because of listening to this interview or this video, they might consider getting help from a person who has not failed yet.
Well, the other thing is I also do some teen work with couples, and I've gotten to see the dynamic of divorce on individuals, their financial lives, and the impact on the children. And it is severe. The impacts are severe in everybody involved, including family members. The financial lives, everything is thrown into turmoil. And so if somebody's in a relationship that's struggling, and there's pain and there's suffering, then something needs to be done, and drastic measures need to be taken. And this is usually what I see, where the stakes are so high that people are either ready to give up or recommit. But something has to be done because this thing cannot sustain itself the way that it is.
Yeah, and what I learned from your interview is that sometimes people think it is my partner or it is that we are incompatible, but what you actually taught us is really there are certain things that when you address them, that it must lead to a result, a positive result. And if you don't address them, then they will stay like that also in your next relationship.
That's right. If
Yeah.
you don't know what to do now, it's not going to get any better. In fact, statistically, about half of marriages divorce today, about 63% of second marriages, and about 74% of third marriages. So people aren't learning. They're repeating the same mistakes.
Yeah. And now with all the technology we have, all the books we have, and all the counselors and therapists and coaches out there, it's not necessary. So
No, that's right. No excuse to have a lousy relationship today.
No, absolutely. So I invite people to listen to the interview I had with you, with especially the focus on how your love life affects your business success and how loving on purpose can be a business strategy. So I think actually there's a book there, Jeff. You need to get busy writing a book.
Book coming your way.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Jeff. Really appreciate you taking your time to talk to us. And maybe we'll have to talk about this other topic that we just brushed upon later. Okay?
Great to be with you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, stop recording.